Hello guys, my name is Wale Farron. I'm a tech entrepreneur and you are watching another episode of Tech Roundup, your weekly opinion, views and analysis of the top tech events happening around the world with a focus on Nigeria. On today's show, we have another set of exciting stories from the world of tech. Our anchor story this week is centered around the recent driver strike of two of Nigeria's leading ride-hailing companies. Remember to watch out for Tech Roundup Weekly. Yeah, so the first story this week is an interesting one. We've always talked about the ride-hailing companies on Tech Roundup, but we're hearing that the drivers of both Bolt and Uber in Nigeria are on a warning strike, and we're also gathering that this has to do with their compensation or the charges that the companies are levying on the fees that these guys are charging for rides. When I was thinking about this, I was wondering, isn't this standard? Is there anything peculiar to the Nigerian market that we don't know about, that there must be better consideration for what is happening? So, I dug deep and I was looking at different markets where these companies operate, and it seems like there's a standard charge that is applied, across board, for drivers. And I think there might be other, additional compensation based on the performance of the driver, their rating by the customers, and things of that nature. So, the other kind of conflict that we've seen in other places, we talked about, ruling in London recently. It's all about, unions, association, making these guys, making them to be looked at by the company as an employee so that they can get other benefits like health, insurance, pension and things like that. But I don't think that kind of conversation is happening, at least not yet in Nigeria. So I'm just wondering what is really driving this. To take an educated guess, I think that one, the drivers want more in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, because the nuances of moving from point A to point B, can be difficult. The way that these fares are charged is, sometimes it's mostly based on distance and not necessarily considering the amount of time spent in traffic and things like that. So the underlying cost of servicing a ride might, if you account for other factors, might be higher in this part of the world, especially in the city that we live in, than in other places. So that might be driving this. I also hear that there's so many price incentive that are being given to riders, to encourage usage of the ride-hailing companies, that are to the detriment of the drivers. And the drivers are sort of protesting and saying, look, figure out your own incentive, don't let it impact us.
So I think what is going on here is the drivers feel as if they are working too hard and they are being rewarded very little. Now, from what I see online, drivers are saying that, look, the amount that these ride-hailing companies are taking from them is too much. I read somewhere that some drivers said they will need that to make 15,000 naira in a day, they'll have to work 10, 15 hours, which to an extent might equate to 630 naira per trip, if I stand to be corrected. But I mean, so they feel as if they are the ones doing all of the work, but these ride-hailing companies, have set their standards in a way that, I mean, they still get the larger share. Which, if you look at the percentage that's been taken from these companies, I think some of them take from 25 to 15% per trip, which, if you look at it, sounds very fair. But the drivers are complaining that, look, these fares aren't paying us at all. We are the ones doing the work, and we are still earning very little. And I think this might have to do with the international exchange rate, because these ride-hailing companies, they have a standard that they maintain across the world, standard fee. But what now matters is how strong your exchange rate is to the dollar. So if your currency is equal to the dollar, you stand to benefit more from these service. But if your currency is not that at par the dollar, then you stand at, to an extent, at disadvantage. So I think this is what the drivers are clamoring for. And I also heard that the drivers are also clamoring for the need to be in these tables when these decisions are being made, because there also stakeholders in this business that are the ones that actually run the business. I mean, if the drivers decide to stop working for a day or a month or a week, the ride-hailing companies will also bear the brunt. They won't see income coming in. So I think the companies also need to find a way to work together with these drivers, because at the end of the day, both parties need each other to survive. The drivers need the companies to survive. The companies also need the drivers to survive.
But shifting away from the commission and the fair prices for a little bit, there's other demands that these guys are focusing on asking for, and majorly concerning the insecurities of their drivers or of the drivers. Apparently, a lot of drivers have been hurt in recent months by riders. Either they take their cars at gunpoint, or they hurt them, or some of them have lost their lives. And apparently the platform isn't doing anything to fix this problem. So these drivers are asking for compensation. They're asking that there's proper profiling of riders and all that. But my only issue with that part of the demand is, I mean, it goes both ways, right? There are many riders I know of who have, found themselves in very dicey situations as well with these drivers, and yet nothing was done to, fix that problem. So it goes both ways. And I feel like before they even started striking, what did they do? What steps did they take? I'm not sure if, apparently they were saying they hadn't. I spoke with an Uber driver that takes me around from time to time, and he was telling me that they had tried to reach out to some of these officials, Uber officials, and nobody responded. So the next step was to go on the strike. But I still feel like they didn't take enough steps to make sure that their plea was heard before doing this. And I feel like because they have just decided to do this, it would affect users like us.
Now we'll take a short break for highlights from this week in tech. This is Tech Roundup Weekly. Enjoy. That's all we have time for this week. As always, we'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so please connect with me on LinkedIn and on Twitter at Wale Faron. And please remember to subscribe to the Tech Roundup YouTube channel if you haven't done so. Also, please like us on Facebook and on Instagram and be part of our ever vibrant tech community, saying Tech Roundup daily on those platforms. Have a great week, guys, and until next week, good night.